Welcome to Chris Cook for You Too. Today I'm going to show you the side dish that I'm going to be having with my dinner. It's dirty rice. So let's get started with the ingredients that you're going to need. You're going to need, of course, your favorite brand of rice. I'm using long grain rice. You're going to need that. You will need beef broth, and I have here a chicken bouillon cube, and that's just to give it a hint of southern flavor. You're going to need a green pepper, onion. You're going to need ground beef, but you don't need a lot of ground beef. So this is roughly about a pound of ground beef. You're going to need celery, salt, adobo seasonings, my favorite all-time seasoning in the world, Lipton onion soup mix, and you're going to need some sage. So I'm going to go away, get everything chopped up and ready to put together this delicious side dish. It's going to be dirty rice. Be right back. Okay, now I'm at my stove and I'm getting ready to go ahead and put together my dirty rice. In this pot, I have 3 cups of rice. And what I'm going to do to this is I'm going to add 6 cups of liquid, because the ratio for rice is for every 1 cup of rice, you add 2 cups of whatever liquid it is that you're going to be using. And today I'm going to be using a mixture of beef broth and water. But I'm going to start with my vegetables. Here I cut up my green pepper, my celery, and my onions, and I'm going to go ahead and just saute them up. I have about a teaspoon of oil down over in my skillet, so I'm going to go ahead and just saute that up real quick, because I want it to be kind of soft when I add it into my other mixture. Now I'm going to add just a little bit more, and this is used cooking oil. I'm just going to go ahead and just add maybe about another tablespoonful, because I don't think I really had enough in there. Okay, now it's not necessary for me to season this, because I'm going to season my rice. So I'm going to get started with the seasonings that I'm going to put in. I'm going to put in a teaspoon and a half of adobo seasoning. And I didn't show you this, but I'm going to add some thyme, and I'm only going to add to this about a half a teaspoon of thyme. If you have thyme, you can use it. If you don't have it, don't even worry about it. To that, I'm going to add a teaspoon of sage, and this is like a heaping teaspoon of sage. Just going to give my vegetables another little stick there. And I showed you yesterday that I had the chicken bouillon cube, and the reason why I had that is because I want to give it like just a little hint of southern flavor to it. And of course, you know, ain't go my all-time seasoning in the world. That's Lipton onion soup mix. Now to that, I'm going to go ahead and add some salt. And I'm going to do about 2 tablespoons of salt. Now, I have a whole container of beef broth. Another little stir. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put in my ground beef. Remember, I showed you my ground beef at the table. I have like a little bit under a pound, maybe about 3/4 of a pound of ground beef. I'm going to go ahead and put that in. And this has my house lit up Because those green peppers, and I know everybody know that the bell pepper and the onion just does so much for sending good aroma throughout the house. Okay, now I want to show you this because I had a leftover pork chop in my refrigerator. This is optional. You don't have to do it, but because I had one that was left over, it was really like 1.5. I'm going to add this into my dirty rice. Now this is optional. You don't have to do it. But if I leave it in the refrigerator, it looks like nobody was going to eat it. So I'm going to go ahead and put it into my dirty rice in a minute. And any kind of meat that you may have, if you have a little bit of chicken that was left over from a meal or anything that you may have, if you want to toss it into your dirty rice, go ahead and do that. Because remember, this is your recipe. You turn this into however you want it to end up. So it's not necessary. Yeah, there is an original dirty rice, but just because there's an original dirty rice, it does not mean that you can't add whatever type of meat that you want to add. Now normally they do this with ground beef and sausage, and that's the way you do it. But I didn't want sausage because I had that additional meat. And this is a side dish, so it shouldn't be used, unless you're going to just serve this by itself, it shouldn't be used as your main dish on your table. So that means that you don't have to put a lot of meat in it. You just have to put a hint of whatever it is that you're going to put in it. So I'm going to get ready to put the liquids in. Be right back because she has to change the battery. Okay, now I'm back in the same spot that I left. I haven't done anything more. So now that my ground beef is cooking up like I needed, along with my green peppers, my celery, and my onions, I'm going to go ahead and just add these little cubes of pork chop that I kind of chopped up, when I was getting ready to, when I knew I was going to have dirty rice. So I just went ahead and chopped it up and just left it in my refrigerator. Now, you don't need to write me and say, well, this is not the way I cook it. I've already explained that you don't have to add that. That's not the way you originally do it, but this is my recipe, do it my way. And that says that I added the pork chop. If you don't want to add it, don't add it. Now, because I used a better ground beef, my ground beef was 80-20, I didn't get a lot of fat. See, there's no fat down in my bottom of my skillet. You got a very small amount. So I don't need to drain this, but normally you would drain this. Okay? Alright, so that is ready. Very simple, very quick. So I'm going to go ahead and just put that on low while I finish up this. Now, I told you I had 3 cups of rice. I'm going to need 6 cups of liquid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use every bit of this beef broth. And then when I run out, I'm going to finish it out with water. So this is a, just so you will know, this is a 32-ounce container. And this 32-ounce container held 4 cups of beef broth. So I'm going to go ahead and finish out the rest with some water. So if that's 4, I'm to add 2 more cups of water, which I've already added. Then I'm going to take my mixture, and because it does not need to be drained, okay, I'm going to go ahead and just put that into my pot with my rice. I'm going to give this a stir. And this is just a little bit of butter That's about 2 tablespoons full. I'm going to put it in my rice. Now, I'm going to allow this to come up to a boil. Then I'm going to reduce the heat down to low for 15 minutes. And after that, I'm going to turn it off and just let it sit in the back of the stove until the rest of my meal is prepared. Okay? So that's bring it up to a boil, which is about 15 minutes. Reduce it down to low, 15 minutes. Cut it off. Do not remove the top, and allow it to just sit on the back of your stove for 15 minutes before you serve it. So I'll put the top on it, and I'm tilting for the first 15 minutes. Then once it comes up to a boil, not a rolling boil, just a boil. Once it comes up, then I'm going to reduce the heat and put the top solidly on it. 15 minutes, then I'm going to cut it off. And I won't remove it for 15 minutes. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead, get this prepared. I'll be back and show you what the finished product looks like. Be right back. Okay, now we're back and the dirty rice is ready. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you what that looks like. Okay. Mix up my ground beef that was floating around on the top. And if you can see this rice, my rice is standing to itself. Okay, it's not stuck. It's not mushy. There's none of that. There you have your dirty rice. And that looks really, really good. And I'm going to serve this with my dinner, so I won't be dishing it up. But you see the pieces of the little pork that I put in there. See the pieces of the ground beef. You see the little bitty pieces of onion and the celery that I put in here. And, of course, the green pepper. There's a piece of green pepper right there. Okay, so this is my dirty rice. I just wanted to come to you and show you a way to make dirty rice your own style. And as always, thank you for watching. Chris Cook for you too. Bye.